So there was really no, the partisans were gone. They were gone to fight somewhere else. And there were few men, from what I understand. There were few men left, and they had some guns, but they were not active against the government. They were just local people.
Exactly.
With guns, but there were very few. There were very few armed people.
Well,
they still raided, and the Ustasha continued to do raids into the villages, and whenever they came, everybody ran, and then they came back. Is that the situation from 42 to 45?
Exactly, because as I said, there wasn't that many partisans here. One time there were, before they left for the, eastern Bosnia, that the 5th Kozarska Brigada, it's called, was there, but until the May of 1943, when they left, there was nothing here. I mean, maybe some people with a gun, as I mentioned, that one that saved our houses were small group that was, well armed. So, yeah.
Now, these were men who had hidden on the first raid, because this means that on the first raid in 42, in the summer, in July, they took everybody out of the village, and they said, we're going to kill everybody tomorrow. Anybody who's left here, we're going to kill. But this means that some guys ran. Some guys hid in the woods.
Yes, some people were able to, kind of hide in the fences,
right.
Fences, between in the rivers. Some dug sort of, like hiding, in the grounds and so on. And yes, there were some of them. However, the idea was not even from the partisans who were there to saying, look, save yourself the way that you can. What it said, do whatever you can. But some of them, hid in Kozara, in other villages. Some of them, but large numbers were not.
Right. Now, when you came back to the village, there were very few people, right?
There was almost no man there. There was only few.
No man came back from Jasenovac.
No.
A few women were allowed. You kind of the way you tell me that you tell the story, the idea is that some people, some families were told to stay with another family, right? And then from there you got back. You decided to go back, to take your chance and go back. But those were only women and children, right? All the men were separated.
Exactly. None of those that were separated from us in Cerovljani, men didn't come back until when the war was over. And unfortunately, there was a stronger man. The camp they were taken to was in Sajmište, in Zemun, across from Zemun, because Jasenovac was full. They could not receive, and that camp was in Sajmište was run by the Croats and the Germans. So I have pictures of them, sitting bare, looking at the sun, and so on. And fortunately for some of them, they were strong enough. They were taken to Norway, right, far away, and some of them, survived from there and came back in June of, whatever, July 1945.
All right. So now we are in February. There are the last raids, the last February 45, the last raid of the Ustasha, right?
Yes.
And then what happened?
Well, then the village was completely burned. The people were
Except for your house.
except for our house. The people were living in the pigs, with the pig in the barn, whatever was left. Whatever left. Then they started after that. Of course, when the war was over, they started to to build houses, like a simple houses and so on. However, then after that we were seeing the Serbian army coming from like Serbia as partisans, again, and we were so happy to see them. It was April 1945. We will go to the road from where they're coming, and they were, everybody asking, "What did you see my brothers?" Brothers said, "No, we don't know them. We are coming from the eastern Serbia." I believe it was called 23rd, division, whatever. And again, they were going through the villages, toward Dubica here, which was, liberated. I don't have an exactly date. It was heavily defended. There was a large amount of partisans killed here to sort of liberate Dubica. Although the war was already getting over, like Russian troops were already, and allies already in Germany, but this was still not, not over.
One more thing, when you came back to the village, was there any animals left? They were gone.
Very few, very few. They were all pillaged taken. Yes, all the food. I forgot to mention, when we came back in December 1942, there was no food for us. They have to go. No, they have to go to the villages getting some corn, which was still on the hidden. Well, no. The corn is already like a little bit of corn in the village of Jablanica. It's far away. They were going and getting some potatoes, from the ground, some some other thing that they can gather, bring home, and we survived that way.
So, but you planted something. You didn't have horses anymore. You had no more horses, no more oxen. There wasn't. It must have been very difficult to plant.
Exactly. Sorry. Before we left, our father was 2 times in the United States. 2 times.
Really?
Yes. Before, I believe, somewhere 1909 to 1913, I believe. I don't have an exact date. He stayed there 4 years, bring the money in, and of course bought some more land and become, like prosperous. Then his first wife died of Spanish influenza, 1918, leaving 1 son called Ratko. It was a boy of six months old that sort of we raised it here, not we. And then he went back. I'm guessing 1919, and he came back in 1923 and married our mother, who was much younger than him. Married there, and we had again. We started, like family. There was 3 of us, survived. One boy died of, he was only about 6 years old. So, but again, when we came back, there was nothing was there. All the cows and pigs and whatever was left was gone. And the only one that was recognized was a cow called Perova. She was taken by somebody here in Muslim or Croat, and somebody recognized that cow. Yes, when we came back, she said, "Oh, we saw you, Perova, with guy like this." Again, whatever. I don't remember the name, of course. And then when my mother and other went to see him, he said, "Oh, this was given to me, by soldiers. I need something from you." So so he said, "Well, what do you need?" So they put a corn or whatever on his back, carried to him, So we had to buy the same cow again.
But that was in 42.
That was 42, yes,
Right.
when we came back, and or beginning of 1943.
Right. And what about your father?
Unfortunately, the father and the brother, a younger brother, and all of the uncles and everybody never came back. When they are starting to return in the June or July and August, the people are coming to our villages from, I guess, from Norway and from other places. We were running, my mother was running to see, what did they see? My son, Ljubić, did they see this and that? We said, no, we don't know. Until the man from our village came from Norway. But at the beginning they didn't tell us, because they didn't want to tell us like exactly. 3 months, 2-3 months later, when we Slivovica was produced, that kind of opened up the tongues of some of them, saying, we saw you father being carried to the grave, to the kind of massive grave. They didn't know about my brother or so on, what was on. So then we knew that they are gone forever.
And where did he die?
Well, again, they were taken to the camp called Sajmište,
Right.
across from Belgrade.
Right.
The Croats took the boundary right there, and nobody except only few survived.
Of course.
Yeah.
So he was killed then. He was killed.
Well, yeah, either killed or they were starved to death probably. I mean, because easy way to do that was don't give them food. You can only last for so long as.
And
Unfortunately.
same for the brother.
Same for the brother, yes.
And the uncles?
Yes, I had 2 uncles. One was like a deaf, mute. He could not talk. So he was like Smith. He was making the tools, and so on. And also my mother's brother, we call him Ujak. He also was killed. And my grandmother, my mother's mother, was also killed, like in Gradiška. She was about 62 years old. I mean, no, sort of no threats to nobody, but
was there any revenge taken in 45?
not that I remember. It was the time to get together in brotherhood, in unity. And I don't believe that nothing was, like revenge that I know of. It was sort of saying, well, now we are all together. The fascists are gone, so on. We're going to continue living together in one country.
I see. So there was no persecution of Muslims. There was no Serbs coming back from as partisans did not go around taking people for being Muslims.
None of that. None of that. It was again those who were caught to who were doing something like wrong. They were tried and I guess they spent the time in jail, and after that they were sent home again. So there was nothing that would say, well, we were not guilty. So many, I guess to revenge. No.
Because in other parts of the world, when liberation came, many people were hanging from lampposts. Did you see anything like that?
Nothing here, nothing whatsoever, because it was there was a communist government that took over and wanted to have the people, together, to live together, not going after, like a revenge, like you mentioned, but only those who were proven to be, Ustaši soldiers or doing this and that, they were tried, and again, most of them came home afterwards.
All the Ustaša soldiers were not all killed?
Well, the Ustaši soldiers and so on, some of them came toward the end and became partisans. And they were, there was nothing, they were cleared. But mind you, or those who were, really, they, escape through Austria and
Right.
so on. However, something which really shows, I don't know how to mention it. For example, Belgrade was bombed 2 times. First time on the Easter 1941 by the Germans, bombers, killing maybe 25,000-30,000 people, burning the bibliothèque, the National Library, with the 300 precious books gone, and killing many innocent people. And the Zagreb, let me just go back. Zagreb was accepting soldiers with the flowers.
Right, I know. German soldiers.
German soldiers. Now again in 1944, somebody, which I believe I know who it was, ordered the bombing of the Belgrade again and many other cities in Serbia. The same on Easter 1944. The Allies planes came in and bombed the Belgrade, killing many thousands of people, and maybe few German soldiers, maybe few. However, the Zagreb was never bombed. Not even small bomb was dropped in the Zagreb, and it was never taken because the Ustaši, even the camp of Jasenovac, was not ever attacked. It was left to function until the group of prisoners there see that they're going to be killed. And 22nd of April 1945, they are, they revolted the prisoners there without any arms, and from 1,200 of them, only about 98 escaped from the Sava River.
Right, I understand. I know that. I was wondering why were not the partisans attacking the camp towards the end? I was wondering about that.
Because of the wrong policy that was viewed as I cannot accuse nobody, but it seems to me that it was planned to be that way.
You said that the partisans were gone from this area.
Yes.
They were, since the Ustaša could raid with ease, it seems that there was no presence of partisans in the area.
Mind you, yes, but mind you, they could have attacked Jasenovac from a ground, until to the grounds of Donja Gradina, that is, land connected with this area here. The other side of Slavonia was protected by like a river Sava, and so on. But they could have done it from here. However, it was never done. It was left to function. Perhaps purposely, I don't know.